Welcome to my review of Gintama Chapter 575, Old Friends and New Friends. My name is Colton. I am the host of Life Lessons, the Gintama Manga Cast, amongst many other shows, but if you're listening to this on the Life Lessons feed, you probably already knew that. Or maybe you're listening to this on YouTube, and maybe you don't know what Life Lessons is, somehow, I don't know. Just in case you don't, you can head on over to gintalifelessons.wordpress.com. We are a podcast that is dedicated to not only talking about Gintama, but the past English released by Viz Media, which was eventually canceled back in 2011. But, you know, we still like to make people aware that the manga is a thing. But, again, you probably already knew that. I don't know how many new people are just going to come across this video, but it's always nice to let people know. But anyway, so whether you are listening to this on the YouTube channel or via the Life Lessons podcast feed, I will warn you ahead of time that this review will contain spoilers. One, for those of you who are listening to this on the Life Lessons feed and are not caught up to where we are in the podcast or further. And, you know, if you're listening to this on YouTube or watching this on YouTube or whatever, and you're not caught up to the manga in general, please do not listen either way, because I will be spoiling the shit out of you, for lack of a better phrase. So, alright, I think they're all gone now. So, let's just get into our review. Or our review, I guess my review, whatever. Chapter 575, Old Friends and New Friends. Again, not a lot to talk about this chapter. It was pretty straightforward, I feel like. Not a ton happened, but I feel like more happened in this chapter than last week. Not as much action, but it's still pretty good. I guess one of the first things I want to talk about is the little moment after Gin and Takasugi take out one of the ground dragon mech things, or whatever they're called, and I think it's when Gin, Takasugi, and Katsura are fighting against the Naraku guys, and Sakamoto is off monologuing to himself, or internally monologuing to himself about the three of them and all that stuff. And I don't, somehow I feel like Sakamoto's perspective on the three of them and their relationship together is kind of interesting, in the sense of, you know, he's always been the odd man out. Like, he just kind of came and left. Like, you know, that's just the reality of the situation. That isn't, and that's not me trying to say, oh, he's not that interesting of a character, he just kind of came and gone. Like, that's nothing against him at all. That's just kind of how things worked out. Sakamoto just kind of wanders around and does whatever it seems, or at least that's what it seems like to me. You know, he didn't grow up with the three of them, and he didn't really know Shoyo Sensei at all. I don't even think he's ever seen Shoyo at all. Probably not. Most likely not. But, you know, he kind of left before all of that stuff happened, or at least I'm assuming he left before all of that crazy shit went down with Gin taking out Shoyo or whatever. But I can kind of see where Sakamoto's coming from with how he feels about the three of them coming together, because, you know, like, the way I see it is, it's kind of like when you have two. Let's say that a friend of yours has two friends that maybe are getting married sometime soon, and when they get married, you know, you don't really know them terribly well, and you might have maybe talked to the both of them like once or twice or something. You might be acquaintances with them, so you don't know them personally, but, you know, you're still happy for them, and you still like seeing them together because it's nice. And, you know, you were probably somehow a witness to, I don't know, maybe how it might have progressed, maybe whether you've hung up with them once or twice, or maybe whether you've heard from your friend about how their life is, or, you know, something like that. I don't know if my metaphor really makes any sense, or comparison, I guess, but, you know, like, I mean, I guess it doesn't work completely here, because Sakamoto is friends with the three of them, but, you know, again, he didn't really grow up with the three of them, so he hasn't known like the three of them have known each other way longer than they've known Sakamoto and vice versa. So, again, he's not he's not invested at all in the whole shoyo thing, but he's still happy to see the three of his friends finally get along together after so long, and I think that's what counts. And I don't know, again, I just find Sakamoto's perspective on a lot of this kind of interesting, again, seeing as how he was never terribly involved in the first place, but he was still there, kind of watching a lot of it happen. So anyway, enough of that. So I liked a lot of the kind of passing the torch sort of thing going on in this chapter, where, because again, it goes back to the chapter title, Old Friends and New Friends, where Gin's 3 longtime friends are willing to give themselves up and act as decoys in order for him to go with Shinpachi to, go find Kagura or whatever. And, I thought that was kind of nice. And I also really liked how Takasugi basically handed Gin over himself personally with the whole, oh, well, you better not make sure he dies because I'm gonna kill him, except it's a little more meaningful than that. It's not exactly like a Goku and Vegeta where Vegeta's just like, you better not die, Kakarot, because I'm supposed to be killing you because I'm your rival. Like, I feel like it's a little more meaningful than that, per se. Like, because again, Takasugi and Gin, yeah, they're both rivals, but I feel like they're a little closer to each other than that, compared, again, if we're comparing them to Goku and Vegeta, which I'm not sure why I'm really comparing both of these pairs. Goku and Vegeta just kind of just stood out in my mind for some reason. I don't know, I just thought it was a really nice touch. Just lot of really nice interactions all throughout the first half of this chapter. Again, like, it's just so nice to see all 4 of them be friends and, look forward to being friends. Like, how content they are with everything, because they're literally like, well, even if this does come to a very gruesome end, we still got to be together, and that's all that matters. And that's just a super nice sentiment. I really like that. And I also really love how Sorachi uses the classic shot of the 4 of them and then some, huddling together, doing whatever. It's never really very clear what they're actually talking about or doing. They're just kind of interacting with each other. You know the shot I'm talking about. If you've watched the anime enough, and this is something I'm kind of wondering, because, for those of you who have been reading the manga from the beginning, this shot of the 4 of them back from the war, along with the bearded guy who used to kind of look like Kondo and everybody thought was related to Kondo, but his appearance has kind of changed a little bit in this chapter. I'm not sure if that was on purpose on Sorachi's part, or if he just forgot what the guy next to Katsura looked like or whatever. It's probably not important, and it's probably never going to be important. But again, whether you watch the anime or read the manga, we've seen this shot before. I had to look this up because I forgot. This shot first appeared in chapter 13 of the manga during Gin and Katsura's first bout with the Harusame Pirates, when the Harusame Pirates first kidnapped Shinpachi and Kagura, and basically it was the debut of the Harusame Pirates. I don't know, I didn't really have much else to say about that, except I like seeing that shot. It's very iconic, I feel like, for most fans of the series. I think what I was going to say was, now I have to wonder, I feel like I've seen this more in the anime than in the manga, because, again, this first appeared in chapter 13, but I really don't know if this appears in the manga again until now. Like, that's something I'm going to have to keep an eye out for while I'm covering older chapters on life lessons. So I guess in due time I'll find out. But until then, I feel like I've seen the shot used in the anime more, definitely used in the Be Forever Yorozuya, Be Forever Odd Jobs, whatever you want to call it. Yorozuya yo Eien Nare, or again, whatever you want to call it. The Be Forever Yorozuya movie, I know this was used near the end, and I feel like this was also used in the anime just recent. Well, not just recently, but in this recent season, I know they used it for the Kurono Tasuke stuff near the end, when basically Gin, on behalf of the anime staff, is like, hey Sarachi, who's this guy? Is that Kurono Tasuke? And all that stuff. That was pretty funny. But anyway, back to the chapter. It seems like Oboro is scheming something. It seems like he's taking up the task of being the one to finally take out Shoyo's disciples. See, at this point, I wouldn't mind maybe seeing like a mini flashback with Oboro and how he came to be so loyal to Utsuro, though I feel like we probably already have a good idea already of how things went down. Oboro at some point was probably dying, and Utsuro gave him a second chance and somehow gave him some kind of immortality, and that sparked some kind of loyalty in Oboro, and Oboro probably idolizes the fuck out of him and all that stuff. I feel like we probably have already seen that once or twice, like a bits and pieces of that, or at the very least, I feel like we can infer that. But I don't know. I still would like to see it. Like, I would just like some kind of like good characterization, character development, whatever, for Oboro, because I don't hate him, but he's just I just like, he hasn't done anything interesting since Courtesan of a Nation. He's just been kind of there to be the opposing antagonistic force that all the characters have been fighting since, or at least in the big arcs since Courtesan of a Nation. Like, you know, I really wanted to know how he did all those like fake Rasengan things, that bullshit what I'm talking about, when he palm thrusts Gintoki with this like aura or something. I still want to know how he does that, but I get the feeling we'll probably never get an explanation for that. But whatever, I guess it's not important. I don't know. I just wish Oboro was a more interesting character, because I just don't care about him. A character I feel like I'm starting to warm up to would be Kamui. If you didn't know, actually that's a dumb way to start the sentence, because if you didn't know, you probably shouldn't be listening to this already. But you know, if you read the chapter, you would know that Kamui pretty much sliced in half Shirei, who I think was supposed to be the captain of the first division of the Harusame Pirates. Honestly, like, in retrospect, I should have figured that he was probably going to get taken out pretty quickly, seeing as how we got like almost no screen time with him before Kamui took him out. And not only did Kamui take him out, not only did Kamui take him out, he sliced him in half. As much as I don't care about Kamui, that was pretty fucking cool. That actually kind of surprised me. I didn't see that coming. That was pretty fucking cool. Like, he took Shirei's big ass sword and used it against him. He used his own weapon to kill him, which that's got to add some kind of insult to injury. So not only does he have the classic Yato umbrella, now he has Shirei's giant fucking sword, and now it looks like he's going to be fighting Ubibozu, which, that's going to be really sweet. I can't wait for that. But yeah, like, I feel like I've said this in one of my previous reviews, but I feel like Kamui to me has started becoming a more interesting character since Shogun Assassination, because I feel like he had bits of characterization within like his and Kagura's fight, when Kagura talked about how, like, oh, when mommy was alive, when you got into fights, you would hide your injuries not to worry about her, which I can dig Kamui being a mama's boy. Like, somehow, I don't know how, but I think it fits. Like, I don't know. Somehow that works. I can't really explain how. I just think it works. But yeah, like, I hope Kamui gets some kind of good characterization out of this arc, because, you know, I get it. I can see why people like Kamui, because people think he's badass, but it really wasn't until the Shogun Assassination arc that I started to find him interesting. Otherwise, he wasn't around too often enough for me to really care about him. I don't know. Again, I didn't hate him, but it's like, again, he wasn't around that often previously, and the few times he was around, he just didn't really grab me. He was just a brawler. He just wanted to fight, and he wanted to become king of the pirates again, or pirate king, whatever. Which his goal isn't even his own. I'm pretty sure that's like mostly a reference to One Piece, but I guess I don't know. Again, Kami's not a bad character. I just didn't think he was interesting. But anyway, that none of that matters, because I feel like by the end of this arc, we're gonna get some good stuff with him. Hopefully, please, I really want some Yato flashbacks. I want something to kind of like string everything together in something more cohesive with what we already know about Kagura and the history of her family and everything. Like, I just want something that kind of basically brings together everything that we already knew, and again make a more cohesive flashback out of it, or maybe learn some new stuff. I don't know, because I feel like there could be more to explore, and I feel like we're gonna get some of that out of this arc pretty soon, hopefully. But with that being said, again, like I said, Oboro is scheming something. Again, sorry, these are my predictions for, I guess, later events to come. Oboro is definitely up to something. He says he's going to repay his final loyalty, which suggests to me that he's probably going to kick the bucket soon, because there's probably some kind of thing where like whatever's keeping him alive probably is going to run out soon, and I feel like he's probably going to basically suicide bomb himself, and in order to try to take out some of the main characters. But you never know. Like, if Oboro died, I probably wouldn't care, honestly, unless somehow like Sorachi throws in like one thing to be like, oh hey, you didn't know this about him, but this. And again, I don't know what it could be, but it could be something in there to somehow make me care about him. I feel like Sorachi could do that, but I wouldn't fall for it, because I really don't like it when like while characters dying or before they're about to die, it's like, oh, we gotta give the audience his entire backstory in order to make you feel sympathy for him. Which I won't give away spoilers for people who haven't seen this, but they've done that shit in like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically Stardust Crusaders, and even as much as I like JoJo, even then I still thought that was kind of bullshit. JoJo fans will know what I'm talking about. I'm not. Maybe some of you'll disagree. I have no idea. But anyway, enough JoJo talk. So yeah, Oboro's probably going to die, I think. And I think finally we're going to get to some Yato business already, because I have been wanting this. Like, as much as I like seeing the War 4 together doing stuff, I think we desperately need to make most of this arc about the Yato. Like, we need to get something, and hopefully I think that's coming soon. But oh, you know what, something else I forgot to mention. I think I've been talking lately in some of my reviews about like Shinpachi kind of having his moment to shine. Like I don't want to sound down on it, because I really did like that moment with Shinpachi taking Gin onto Sadaharu and like leading him away from the Naraku, and while the three of his other friends protect him and all that stuff, or act as decoys, and that was really nice. But it's not what I thought it would be, but I think I'm okay with it. I think I'm okay with Shinpachi again being that bridge to the new generation, because I think that was the whole point of that little exchange, is that Sakamoto, what? Gin and his friends, they're old news. They're, I guess, for the sake of this argument, they're has-beens. It's that whole we got to make way for the new generation kind of thing, and I really like how Kagura and Shinpachi kind of represent that. So in that sense, I kind of like, even if it was something small, I think it's still a pretty big thing for Shinpachi to be able to protect Gin, or at least have these much stronger, more experienced people who have been through war and back be able to trust this comparatively inexperienced young adult or young teenager, whatever, put their trust into this young adult, with protecting their old friend. And again, I think that's really nice that they trust Shinpachi that much. But anyway, so yeah, I think Oboro's gonna die, and I think we're gonna finally get some Yato business. But what I was going to say was, I feel like these two things are gonna somehow cross over. I don't know how, and I can't really say why, but I just kind of have a feeling. I don't know why. Like maybe Umibozu and Yato, because that's his name. Yeah, Umibozu and Kamui are probably going to fight, obviously, and then Kagura's probably going to get caught up in the middle of it, and then maybe possibly she'll start losing to her Yato instincts, and then Gintoki will probably have to snap her out of it, and then maybe Utsuro. I'm just expecting Utsuro to just to jump off the ship at the most inopportune time, because he kind of sort of did that during the Farewell Shinsengumi arc, but I feel like he's going to do it again. He's going to, just kill everything, or at least attempt to. But I think that's all I have to say about Chapter 575. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed listening. You guys have a good whenever time you're listening to this, and I will see you next week for Chapter 576.